Or you can stay back there. Put your hand on the car, man. No, put your hand on the car.
Lean on the car, please.
Lean on the car right there.
Hey, right here.
Can you do us a favor?
Listen.
Can you do us a favor and wait for us over there, please?
Put your hands behind the back. Put your hands behind the back.
I got to change the light.
Put your hands behind the back.
Good.
Hey, let me get another cup, bro. I gotta take this shit.
With over 10 million subscribers and billions of views, Vitaly once ruled YouTube as its most fearless prankster. But in 2025, he vanished. Not in a stunt, not on livestream, but behind bars in a Filipino prison notorious for overcrowding and violence. No bail, no deportation, no cameras. How did one of YouTube's most untouchable creators end up declared an undesirable alien with no country willing to take him back? This isn't just a fall from grace. It's what happens when attention becomes addiction and no one says stop. Stick with me. This story goes places you won't believe. So let's rewind to the early 2000s. YouTube was exploding. Pranks were everywhere. And Vitaly Zdorovetskiy, better known as VitalyzdTV, had something the others didn't, a willingness to go further. He wasn't doing harmless gags. He was staging fear, chaos, risk. The infamous Miami zombie prank is what made him blow up. Over 30 million views. The timing was grim. Miami had just lived through a real-life zombie attack, a brutal tragedy splashed across headlines. The city was on edge, and Vitaly dressed as a zombie and chased terrified strangers through the streets. Insensitive? Definitely. Viral? Absolutely. And for Vitaly, that was the lesson. Fear and shock brought clicks. Boundaries were optional. From there, his brand was cemented. Russian hitman prank, gold digger prank. The stunts got bigger, wilder, more reckless. He streaked across the field during the 2014 World Cup, climbed the Hollywood sign, snuck up the Great Pyramids in Egypt. He didn't just rack up views, he racked up arrests. But here's the catch. In the US and Europe, consequences were light. A fine here, a night in jail there. Nothing that stuck. So Vitaly wore his arrests like trophies. Proof he was untouchable. Proof that clout was stronger than the law. For a while, his fans agreed. To them, he wasn't just funny, he was fearless. But what looked like confidence was something else. A growing addiction to attention. And like any addiction, it needed a bigger dose each time. And the bigger dose he chose next, it's where things started to crumble. By 2019, prank culture was fading. The internet wasn't as easily shocked anymore. So Vitaly went bigger. Instead of pranking strangers on the street, he set his sights on global stages. At the Champions League final, and later at the Cricket World Cup, Vitaly, his girlfriend, and even his mother stormed the field in barely their outfits to promote their adult website. For him, it was another headline, another way to prove he still mattered. But for millions of viewers, it was embarrassing. Comments poured in saying that this wasn't funny. It was desperate. Even the sports world reacted. Security tightened. Broadcasters cut away. For the first time, Vitaly wasn't seen as daring. He was seen as disruptive. And how did he handle the backlash? With arrogance. In live streams, he insisted, "They hate me because I do what they don't." But the dislike buttons told a different story. His once loyal audience was slipping away. And yet, he still hadn't hit bottom. That was coming next. Then came April 12th, 2020. A date that would mark the end of Vitaly's long flirtation with danger, and the beginning of something much darker. According to the police report, Vitaly had taken a heavy dose of psychedelic mushrooms. Hallucinating, paranoid, and completely unhinged, he left his Miami home and wandered into the streets. That's when he saw her, a woman in workout clothes out for a jog, a complete stranger. He sprinted toward her, tackled her to the ground, and began punching her in the head, the chest, the ribs. She screamed, fought back, bled. She suffered facial injuries, bruises, and needed stitches. But what lingered was the psychological trauma, the fear of jogging alone again, of being watched, of being hunted.
Exactly what's happening, ma'am. Somebody's outside beating the out of somebody. Lock your doors and windows and do not let the person in. Are there any weapons involved? No. No, he's just beating the out of somebody. Okay. Female on the ground. He was punching her in the face left and right. Okay.
The arrest was immediate. The charges were serious, aggravated battery. But the damage extended far beyond the police report. The internet had excused a lot from Vitaly over the years. Trespassing, fake bomb pranks, field invasions, even brief jail stints overseas. But this wasn't content. This was real violence. There was no funny caption, no video, no joke. And the fallout came fast. Longtime fans turned. Brands dropped him overnight. YouTube quietly demonetized much of his old catalog, a digital erasure of his legacy. Vitaly's response? He posted a vague apology video, never once mentioning the woman he attacked. He apologized to the world. Blamed burnout, blamed drugs, blamed the people around him. For many, this was it. The moment he crossed a line, no amount of subscribers could pull him back from. The years that followed only added to the spiral. He nearly died in a skydiving accident while promoting his adult site. His parachute failed to slow his fall properly. He survived, but just barely. Lawsuits piled up, sponsors disappeared, and for nearly 2 years, Vitaly went quiet. When he finally returned in 2022, his tone had changed. He admitted to burnout, drug abuse, losing himself in fame. He said, "I take responsibility. I messed up. For a moment, it looked like he might be ready to rebuild, but old habits die hard." By 2023, Vitaly was streaming on Kick and once again harassing strangers for content. When that didn't land, he pivoted into predator catching with other streamers, staging dramatic confrontations live. It was messy, questionable, and often dangerous. The audience that once crowned him a prank king now watched with unease. And here's where the final act begins. By 2025, Vitaly was chasing redemption. YouTube had moved on. His apology tour had fizzled. Even his edgy streams on Kick, a platform known for tolerating chaos, weren't landing. So he did what many creators do when they need a reset. He went abroad. Vitaly booked a flight to the Philippines, a country known for beauty, hospitality, and, crucially, lower law enforcement visibility for tourists. At first, it seemed like he was trying something new. He filmed himself giving away money to street vendors, handing out food to kids. There was hope that maybe, just maybe, he was turning the page. But it didn't last. Within days, he was back to form. The streams devolved into a disrespectful circus. He heckled locals in broken Tagalog, taunted women with vulgar comments, mocked men for their accents, and hurled insults at anyone who looked at him wrong.
I'm gonna fucking eat your dog. Excuse me. How much to sell your dog to China?
He filmed himself grabbing items from small shops without paying, walking out of restaurants without settling the bill, even stealing an industrial fan, laughing as the owners chased after him, confused and helpless. Then came the final straw.
That's my only fan left in the chat. Since I don't have any fans.
Inside a mall, Vitaly jumped onto a security guard's motorcycle, live on camera, and tried to ride off. The guard tackled him. Vitaly resisted, and at one point reached for the guard's holstered sidearm.
I have a question. I have a very important question for you. Can I shove this up your booty?
Lihin mo, kuya. Lihin mo.
He didn't get it, but it was enough. Enough to cross every line, enough to trigger the kind of response he never saw coming. Because this wasn't Miami. This wasn't a place where you post bail and drop a merch link the next day. This was the Philippines, and people were watching closely. Not just fans, but authorities. The Department of Justice, the Bureau of Immigration, and even the Secretary of Justice himself got involved. This wasn't content. This was criminal, And the internet was about to watch one of YouTube's biggest names face real-world consequences. With no camera crew, no legal team, and nowhere to run. On April 2nd, 2025, police swarmed his Manila hotel. Cameras caught him smiling, cracking jokes, even blowing kisses as they cuffed him. He told his stream, "This is money. I like jail."
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you.
But this time, the laugh track was gone. Days later, the Justice Secretary himself went on national television, presenting Vitaly like a trophy. The charges were long and serious. Attempted theft, unjust vexation, alarm and scandal, public disturbance, and multiple counts of harassment. And unlike other foreigners caught in trouble, he wouldn't be deported. The government made it clear he would stand trial in the Philippines.
Now, Secretary John Vic has said he violated our laws and he disrespected Filipinos. You know, Filipinos we are friendly people, we are hospitable people. But this guy took advantage of us.
For the criminal cases that was already most likely filed or probably will be filed against him, from the news articles I saw, it's basically bailable offenses that they charge him with, the unjust vexation.
That's how the king of pranks ended up in Camp Bagong Diwa, a detention facility infamous for its overcrowding and harsh conditions. Cells designed for maybe 10 men often hold 30. Prisoners sleep shoulder to shoulder on the floor or share thin wooden planks. There's little ventilation, limited food, and almost no privacy. Diseases spread easily. Violence simmers in the background. For someone who once made a career out of control, freedom, and chaos on his terms, Vitaly is now trapped in a world where he controls nothing. Leaked photos show him gaunt, head shaved, lost inside an oversized orange jumpsuit. This was no YouTube set, no prank video. This was his reality. And there's still the question everyone asks: how long? Legal experts in Manila have laid out 3 likely outcomes. Best case, if he's only convicted of minor counts like unjust vexation, he could serve 18 months to 3 years. Middle ground, stacking charges like theft, public disturbance, and harassment could mean 5 to 7 years. Worst case, if the court wants to make an example of him, especially over the attempted gun grab, he could face up to 20 to 24 years. And because trials in the Philippines often drag on for years, even waiting for sentencing means Vitaly could spend 2 to 3 years in detention before he even knows his fate. Either way, he's not walking out anytime soon. This was the moment everything came full circle. The man who once prided himself on being fearless, on breaking every rule, finally found a system he couldn't laugh off. The prank king who thought jail was content was now facing decades in a foreign prison, in conditions described as hell on earth. No cameras, no stage, no punchline, just silence. Vitaly's story isn't just about one reckless YouTuber. It's about how the pursuit of attention, unchecked, becomes its own trap. Every time the views dipped, he went bigger. Every time the internet moved on, he pushed the line further, until there was nothing left but scandal, violence, and disgrace. The internet has a short memory, but it remembers enough to turn someone into a cautionary tale. And Vitaly, he went from the top of YouTube to a prison cell in Manila, not because of bad luck, but because he never knew when to stop. So maybe the question isn't whether he deserves it. Maybe the real question is, how many more creators will follow the same path before they realize views aren't worth losing everything? So what do you think? Did Vitaly seal his fate years ago, or was there a moment he could have turned it all around? Let me know in the comments, and subscribe to the Celeb Spring. Because fame fades fast, but the stories don't stop here.